Hey, welcome guys. I'm Tim Lanks with Red Dog Bushcraft. Here lately I've been doing some teaching and I've been going over some shelter options, and we've used a poncho in a lot of those shelters. So I thought I'd start a little series here on YouTube and go over some of the shelter options. Everything we need for today is in this bag that my wife made. I'll lay this out, we'll go through the contents, and I'll show you how you can use it when you're out for an emergency shelter. Okay, here's our kit all laid out, and here's everything that we'll be using for this particular shelter. And some of these items we won't even use, but this is the way it stays stored in my bag. Here I have just a couple of loops. These are tied out of some tarred bank line. I carry 4 to 6 aluminum stakes, just the cheap variety. A 55-gallon drum liner. This is 25 foot of paracord, and I used orange today so that you could see it. Here's a orange bungee cord, and of course the U.S. military poncho. So let's start with our first shelter, and we're going to do a plow point. Okay, the first problem we've run into is this tree is actually too big for me to run my bungee cord around. So we would just go to a smaller tree. But not today. This gives me an opportunity to show you a different method. Using our paracord, it has a loop tied in one end of it. We're simply going to take that loop. Whoa, there goes the camera. Let's try that again. Okay, let's go over how to tie the poncho to the tree using just paracord. Okay. I take my poncho and one of my grommets at the corner that I want to tie, and I take that loop and just place it through the grommet hole in the poncho. Okay, so now my cord is running through the grommet hole. I take all the rest of my paracord and pull it through the loop. So the poncho is tied to the tree. Now I'm going to step in front of the camera here for a minute. I want to get on the other side so you can see. Now all I do is I pull it tight, and I'm going to pinch right here. So I pinch that knot. And then I take a loop of line and I push it behind the cord where it's running through the tree. So I have another loop. And I pull that down and I grab the rest of my paracord and pull that tight. And what I've done is I've basically made a trucker's hitch. If you want extra security, just tie your safety knot behind it. But if you don't, remember that's a slippery knot, so when you get ready to take it down, you just pull it. Pinching it, passing the loop up, pull it down, grab the rest of my paracord and pull it tight. That's all there is to it. Now, so that in an emergency situation I don't have to run around and find sticks. Like I said, I carry these aluminum stakes, and all I have to do, they're small enough that I can run them right through that eyelet. And I just pull this good and tight, and just at about a 45-degree angle, shove that stake down in there. Now, while I've got that out, this is going to become my ridge line. I can go ahead and pull this hood down. And if I want to make sure that's closed up good, take a couple of wraps around it and tie a simple shoestring knot or old bow knot there. That's all we need. And that makes sure that that hood stays closed. And then I'm going to take me a couple more stakes and go through these eyelets and pull these sides out. I want to pull them good and tight. Staking that down, and the same thing on this side. And there we go. We have a nice plow point. Now, if we had a tree behind us and we needed to, we still have all of our cord. We can simply do a clove hitch. Take that clove hitch and place it over top of our rain hood and come back up and tie it to a tree to really pull that tarp up. I'll show you the front. Okay, here's one side of our shelter, and as you can see, that would be pretty easy to close in there if I needed to. But the idea is to set this up so that the wind would not be blowing in that corner. Now I'm going to walk around the other side of the tree, and this is where we have a little bit of a larger angle. This is where we have most of our opening, and I would probably keep this side here to put my fire at. I would put my fire right out in front of this shelter, and the way we were teaching our soldiers this past weekend is you clear out an area around your shelter as far as you can step, and I want to step right here against the shoulder, against the shelter, and as far out as I can step. This is how big of an area, circle, that we want to clear out. And right here is where I would want to build my fire. Now also, we would want to stack our firewood on that other side, that small side there. That would help us block any wind or weather that might be coming in, and it puts our firewood within easy reach so that we don't have to get out of our shelter in the middle of the night to keep our fire going. Okay, one last thing that we can do is we can take our 55-gallon drum liner and we can either stuff that with debris and make ourselves a bed mat, or simply lay it on the ground, and that'll give us a vapor barrier. The other thing we can do is our bag that our shelter system came in, we can stuff that with pine needles or leaves or extra clothing or what have you, and give ourselves a pillow. So, just one simple shelter. It's been around for years and years, probably goes back to the pioneer days, but it's one that I enjoy, and it's easy to set up. With a little practice, you can get this thing set up in 5 minutes with no problem at all. And a poncho, like I said, it's probably not the best rain gear in the world, but it will work, and it's multi-purpose. So thanks for joining me once again. I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft. God bless.